everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this unboxing video of the box set Warhammer Space Marines. Actually, it's just Space Marine Adventures. Hey Alexis, I'm going to stop you right there, and before anybody makes a comment about the image on the screen in the background, you can see my computer screen in the background and it looks potentially inappropriate. So we're going to go ahead and address it right now. This is the image that is on the background. It is, simply put, it is a cosplay of a demonette convincing a sister of battle to fall to chaos. This is done by Nerd Princess or Nerd_Princess. Give her a follow. She's an amazing cosplayer and I get a lot of inspiration from cosplayers such as her. Also, I'm not in makeup, so I look terrible. Okay, so it's not inappropriate. It's awesome instead. So let's get back to the video. Rise of the Orks. So this is a brand new box game that you can pick up from Barnes & Noble here in America. I don't know if Barnes & Noble is in other countries, but I know that this is kind of an American exclusive, which is pretty neat, to be honest. A lot of the Space Marine adventure games have been American exclusives. More specifically, they've been sold at Barnes & Noble. Why they've been sold there? I haven't the faintest idea. All I know is I spend way too much money there, and now I'm going to be spending even more. Thanks, GW. But if you don't know what the Space Marine adventure games are, they're a small game played between multiple different chapters of Space Marines. It's not a deathwatch team, it's just one person from different chapters that have to complete certain missions, and it's a small-time tabletop game itself. It's a self-contained game, and they can be played between like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. It's not very long, but it is a lot of fun, and it is pretty quick, and the models are pretty easy to build, usually. The models come in various colors, which is silly, and this is with the older sets. I don't know about this one. We're going to crack this one open and figure that out in just a minute. But it's kind of interesting that they're not deathwatch. That has always been my biggest thing, and I guess it's because I want to show the diversity of the chapters, different color schemes, and everybody knows that multicolored boxes like this appeal to a wider audience. So it is kind of neat. We do have one guy who's dumb, and actually two guys that are dumb and forgot their helmets, which is always fun. These are push-fit models, as we can see on the back of the box here. But let's crack into this box and see what it actually is. Take a look at the game board and see the miniatures themselves. Okay, so the Rise of the Orks box set. What we know about this is we need to get off the plastic wrap real quick. I just used my knife completely backwards. I'm so glad that this blade is incredibly dull, otherwise that could have hurt. And of course I can't get this open because I am a genius when it comes to cutting things. So this box retails for $45 USD. I don't know what that translates over to people who haven't landed on the moon money, but we're going to go ahead and toss that off and take a look at this box set itself. So you can see the game board here, the stat cards that they have, which actually leads to them dying, which is pretty cool. This game contains 5 Space Marine Terminator miniatures, 20-page rulebook, 1 game board, 1 attack dice, 32 supply cards, 2 different difficulty cards, 5 Space Marine data sheets, 2 lines of sight rulers, and 74 counters. Why do we need that many? Well, I guess it is orcs. Okay. Now this thing does say it takes 30 minutes, but every time I've played the Space Marine adventure games, it didn't end for at least an hour. And I am having difficulties opening a box because I am good at opening boxes. Why am I having such difficulty opening this box? Come on, there we go. So one thing I hate is when boxes get the stuck of air inside them, so they're like impossible to open. So, first thing I noticed is the side art, which shows Gut Ripper, which is one of my favorite war bosses and his favorite attack squig, a Pain Boy, who you can only get in the Star Collecting box now, a mech, not a big mech, a Burner Boy, a boy, and a Meganob on one side. Then we have some of the Primaris Marines on this side, which don't appear in this box at all. Find out more about Space Marines at warhammer.com. Then we have the Space Marine Terminators that appear in this box. We have an Ultramarine, Blood Angel, Salamander, Power Ranger, and we have a Space Wolf. I hate the yellow Power Rangers. They look so stupid. Like, out of all of these colors, this one stands out as the most idiotic. So then we go to the other side and we see the Orks. Let's go ahead and get into this box set itself. With the first thing that appears in this box, I'm going to go ahead and move my clippers. I have my knife, and I have my sanding tool, which is always useful. I have Instaset here. This is just from the last video I shot. So it looks like we have the counters right here. The Rise of the Orc stuff in this booklet, and then, oh god, they're each Power Rangers. Holy crap. So we have Tommy the Green Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, the Blue Ranger, the Red Ranger, and the Gray Ranger. One singleton dice, or die, and all of the cards. And it's apparently time for me to wake up. Don't think there's anything else in the box itself. I think that is just it. But just in case, we'll tear this open. Nope, that is it. Okay, so we can get this out of the way and take a look at these silly looking Terminators. So the cool thing about the Warhammer hero models versus the 40k equivalents of them is they are scaled up. They are slightly larger than their predecessor. It's kind of like the Deathwatch Kill Team, not the Deathwatch Kill Team, the Deathwatch board game. Is it the Deathwatch board game? The Space Hulk ball game, apparently. Now they're playing baseball. First they were Power Rangers, now they're baseball players. But the Space Hulk board game, the Terminators in there are scaled up, and they are the appropriate size that they should be, where the old Space Marine Terminators are smaller than Sisters of Battle of current day. So we have one with a Cyclone Missile Launcher, Storm Bolter, and Power Fist. We have one with Thunderhammer Storm Shield. This is the Bangle. And it's kind of cool. All the copyright material is right there on the bottom. So we do get these designer bases, which look really nice, but it also means you can only buy one of this set, which is kind of a shame. Then we have the Ultramarine, who is fairly generic with Stormbolt and Power Fist. I guess one of them had to be generic. The cat decided to eat right at this moment. Then we have the Yellow Power Ranger, the Dorn Marine, the Imperial Fist. You know, I insult these guys, but I use their rules, so I shouldn't really insult them. He has an Assault Cannon and Power Fist. And then we have the Salamander, who is classical Salamander and has the Heavy Flamethrower and Chain Fist. Though I think this combination is completely useless because I would never put a Chain Fist on a Terminator that is also wielding a Heavy Flamethrower, because this is an anti-infantry weapon, this is an anti-tank weapon. Yeah, that does make it sound like this guy can do a whole bunch of stuff, but it ultimately means that he is multi-purposed and you want specialists. I would much prefer running this heavy weapon over the other one. So this is not an actual squad, just so we are clear. This is not the traditional way that Space Marines come as kits of Terminators. Alright, the one dice has absolutely nothing special on it. I was kind of hoping the 6 would be like an orc face or something, but no, it's just generic dice. Let's go ahead and open this up. We have the reference cards in it, which tells us what all of our orc tokens are, which if you've played 40k, you know the orcs. But this is more meant for people who have no experience with Warhammer 40k at all. That's what these games are for. These are those games that trick people into playing. So the cards are set up so that you have the command and move, you have their wound counters, and it allows them to actually show how far that they can move with their missile barrage. This is their weapon profile, which is kind of interesting. Then we have the strategic mind of the Ultramarine. Of course we do. Let me guess, are you dumb and do wolf things. I have the wolf, of course. Of course you do dumb wolf things. Brother Lucas, Brother Stormheart. Stormheart. He's got a storm bolter. You got Brother, I'm just gonna call him Lucas. Brother Etrus, he has the Sustained Fire, which is pretty similar to their chapter fluff and everything. Brother Magamus. They're really, really going with those silly themes that the Space Marines have, which I find to be both silly and entertaining at the same time. So let's see, you have the Wall of Fire, which means for 5 spaces you can do a flame attack, which is pretty good. You also have the Fires of Nocturne. Brother Magamus treats all orc tokens as being 1 toughness lower to a minimum of 2. That's pretty cool. I like him. Then we got Brother Sergeant Angelus. Because get it? He's an angel. So Angel Us. That's his name. He's a blood angel. Personally, I wish they switched out the Imperial Fist for Dark Angel. I think it would have been a little bit more diverse, since you have 3 codex chapters that all appear in the Space Marine Codex and 2 that appear in their own codexes. It would have been kind of cool to get the Dark Angel for the 3rd codex. Possibly even a Grey Knight would have been cool. Could have gone with the Deathwatch. I don't know why these guys don't at least have a Deathwatch shoulder pad. It's really weird, and I don't understand the story of how 5 Terminators of different chapters came together to work on one mission, considering that they'd be in different sectors of space. But we're not going to get into that. Especially being that some of these are separated by the Imperium being literally cut in half, where you need blanks just to get across the Sigidrix Maledictum. Welcome to the world of fantasy games. And it shows the 2 games that we still have. We actually have them right over here. We have Blitz Bowl and we have Crypt Hunters, which we're going to be doing separate videos on. So this tells you to play the other games. Then it goes into Beastgrave, which I think is interesting, since Beastgrave is the one released by GW in all stores that we see, and is played on a hexagrammal board, very similar to the Warhammer, the Space Marine Adventures. So then it goes to, from there, it goes to the Elite Edition, which is rather interesting that they chose the Elite Editions of both of them, and Tempest of Souls, which is very similar to the Elite Edition. So it's kind of cool. Tells you how to buy their magazine, check out their stores and everything. Typical stuff that we see in all the starter sets and everything. You know, to get those kids interested in Warhammers. So, setup. Difficulty, novice. Oh, that's just rude. It just flat out says novice. I wonder if this game plays similar to the other game that Barnes & Nobles has, which is the Close Quarters Fighting with Captain Can Opener. I'm wondering about that one, because I want to buy that game as well. So, the youngest player picks 1 Terminator and takes its datasheet. See page 6. Well, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I like that. They pick 1 Terminator starting hex, so Terminators have their own starting hex. It looks like they start in the middle of the board. Okay. Cat is tearing up the carpet for no reason. Love this cat. Are you done? Okay, good. Place the Terminators on a starting hex. The player to their left then does the same until each player has their own Terminator for the board. So this can be up to 5 players. And if you were to really be so inclined, you can probably add new players to this with just this simple setup, following the rules for their cards. In fact, it would be kind of cool to get some lightning claws in here, and maybe some of the other weapons that Terminators are known for. It would be cool to get a Death Knight in here. So number 2, each player then places a damage marker on the damage tracker for each of their Terminators data sheet. It must be placed at 0. So we look at the, where did I put those markers? We look at the marker, we put it on a 0. Pretty simple. Remove the orc tokens from the punch board. If it's your first time playing. Take a number of type of orc tokens named on their difficulty cards under Orc Horde. Mix these tokens together face down in a pile on the next board. This is the Orc Reserve pile. Any remaining Orc tokens not being used, place them in the gaming box. Okay, so it looks like each mission has their own way of setting in some orcs against you, which is kind of neat. They have their own rules and everything set on their own tokens. It doesn't look like they can take too much damage, which is interesting. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. Take a number of tokens written under Orc per wave from your Orc Reserve pile, keeping them face down. Roll the attack dice for each one. Each time you roll, place an Orc token face up on the Orc Breach Hex, which is the corner hexes. Okay. Each time you roll, place an Orc face up on the Orc Breach Hex token with the number rolled. Ooh. If there is an already Orc... Oh, okay, so they're numbered. So that's how they show up. So I'm guessing if you roll the same one, you re-roll it. That would be my assumption. Face up on a token. If the token already has an Orc token on the Breach Hex, place the token on the nearest hex to the Breach Hex. Wow, that is confused. Oh, so multiple Orcs can appear at the same ones. Okay, that makes sense. And they just have to be in base-to-base context or in the next hex next to them. Alrighty. Nearest hex, or a hex that a Terminator's not in. Where there is a choice, the player decides which hex the Orc token is placed in. This is called adding Orc tokens to the board. Who would have guessed? Wowzer gee willikers. Take the 6 power reactor tokens and place one in each of the power reactor hexes with an undamaged side face up. Okay, so that would be these yellow hexes here. Pretty interesting. And we'll see this on the board in just a second as we go through all of this. Place the grit marker in each starting space on the grid tracker. In the grid tracker. Where the hell is the grid tracker? Oh, okay, up here. That's the grid tracker. So it's up on the top left part of the board. We got the grid tracker. On the space mark 3. Place the attack dice on the board in the center wall hex. Okay. I like how they use a white dice here, a black and white dice. We have a black and white dice, but it's inverted. So I just think that's kind of amusing. Place the attack dice in the center, the wall of the hex, and roll for the dice for any reason. Okay, so after you roll your dice, if you need to, you place it in the center, which is kind of interesting that they say that. Most players are just going to have their own dice. I'm probably actually going to include 5 dice in here, just out of my own collection, because I kind of have, if I can get this in here, kind of have a few dice. This thing is rather large and rather heavy. Okay, here we go. Take all the supply cards and shuffle them face down to form the supply deck. Place this deck beside the board. So you just place it beside the board. Take the 2 line of sight rulers and place them beside the board for the players to use. Okay. So you get your line of sight line, which is very similar to that of the Blackstone Fortress one. In fact, this actually looks like a Blackstone Fortress board itself. So it's kind of interesting. Alrighty. So then we go over the data sheet itself. So let's take a look at the ones that we're going over as we go over it. So the first part is his name. Then we have the Terminator The chapter marker, okay, which is the Blood Angel. The Terminator command value is number 3, which is right here. Okay. Number 3. The higher this number, the earlier that Terminator gets to take its turn. Okay, so there are also turn markers. That's interesting. Are there slower ones? So the Space Wolf is the slowest, which is rather amusing for a Space Wolf. You'd think he'd be the fastest. The Blood Angel is the fastest using a weapon that's unwieldy. Huh. If you know 40k rules, this is rather silly. Again, that's an unwieldy weapon. All of these guys have unwieldy weapons, but it's just interesting that the Space Wolf goes the slowest. So in terms of speed, it goes the Blood Angel, the Salamander, then it goes the Ultramarine, who decided to fall out. Then it goes the, I keep wanting to call them Power Rangers, the Imperial Fist, and then it goes the Space Wolf. I guess it's because the Space Wolf has like the best weapon, so that kind of makes sense. And I guess they consider this to be the worst weapon combo? That would be my logic for it. Okay, so number 4 is this Terminator's movement value. So it looks like all of them have a movement of 2 except him, who has a movement of 1. So yeah, he is probably the worst. And the cat is gonna meow for no apparent reason. So I do apologize about that. All right, then we have number 5, number 4, the move value. This tells you how far the Terminator can move when it makes a move action. The Terminator's unique abilities, which is number 5, which is Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, and Unstoppable. So let's take a read of what these do. Thunderhammer. This dude can attack an Ork Horde token that is next to him. Okay, it's pretty simple. When Brother Sergeant Angelus suffers damage, reduce that damage by 1. That's super useful for the Storm Shield. Unstoppable Advance. Brother Sergeant Angelus can make 3 move actions and 3 attack actions in any order in his turn. Wow, never mind. This guy just got to be like one of the best. So he can kill 3 guys at once. That's pretty good. Maybe he's just the best. Okay. So then, those are his abilities. We go to the model for the Terminator itself, which is the model that we saw. Then we have number 6, the number 7. The Terminator's damage tracker. So this is the amount of wounds he has before he dies. He reduces these by 1, which is pretty good. Then we have a supply card, which shows the card artwork, the card name and description, which is right here. So which is Righteous Strength. Then we have number 3, which is what the card does. And this one does, you can play this card before Brother Sergeant Angelus attacks. Treat the next Ork token Brother Angelus targets as being a toughness of 2, which we don't know the strength characteristic of these characters, which is interesting. And none of these tell me. So I'm wondering, how the heck do we hit and wound? Okay. Then we have number 5, which is, this card's restricted. So it's his Terminator's name and what he actually is. So it's strictly, this one card is strictly to this dude. And then we have the Ork tracker, which is his movement, the Ork damage, and the Ork toughness. So we know how much damage this Ork does. He does 2, so it takes a total of 3 attacks to kill a Space Marine. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, 3 attacks to kill a Space Marine, which makes sense for an Ork token. And then his toughness of 3. But we don't know our toughness. Or to hit. That's kind of a big deal. How do we hit? I'm really curious how we hit. Okay, how to play. Round 1. An Ork wave is when the Ork player places new Ork tokens on the board. So we got all of our Ork tokens, and we'll check those out in a minute. Terminator action phase. Terminators act in this phase. Orc action phase. Finally, the Orc action phase. The Orc tokens move and attack. Okay. Keep playing rounds until the game ends, obviously. This game ends instantly if any of these three things happen. The last power reactor token is damaged. There is a loss for the players. Oh, okay. The last damage token is damaged. This is a loss for the players. So it's a cooperative game for the most part, it looks like. The grit marker is moved to the space 0 for the grit tracker. This is a loss for the players. There are no Orc tokens in the Orc reserve pile. This is the last Orc, and the last Orc token on the board has been destroyed. This is a win for the players. So players win by annihilating all the Orcs without getting their stuff destroyed or stolen. Pretty standard 40k stuff. Orcs are doing one of three things: stealing stuff, breaking stuff, or stealing stuff. It might sound like they're doing two things that are the same, but trust me, they're completely different because of Orc logic. So, Orc wave phase. Skip this phase if it's the first round. The first wave of Orcs has already been placed during setup. Okay. During later rounds, players will add a wave of Orcs onto the board. They do this by adding Orc tokens to the board using the exact same rules for setup on pages 4 and 5, which I don't think we saw setup. Okay, so yeah, we just roll for the Orcs themselves. I guess we just keep rolling. How do we know what type of... Oh, okay, so we do it based on the difficulty cards. That is poorly explained. Okay. So now we have the Terminator action phase. In the Terminator action phase, the Terminators take one turn each. When each Terminator has had one turn, the Terminator action phase ends. Play order. The Terminators with the highest command value takes the first turn. So we saw that, and that would be Brother Angel Us, because he's a blood angel. Angels. Saint Michael is our Primarch. We're angelic. All of us are named after biblical angels. Anyway, I'm going to stop that because somebody's going to get annoyed by that. All right. Terminator with the highest command value takes the first turn. The next Terminator taken by the Terminator has the next highest command value. Moving and attacking. When a Terminator's turn, they can make one move action and then one attack action, or they can make one attack action and then a move action. So they're interchangeable. They do not have to do either. Okay, that's good to know. After their turn ends and the next Terminator takes their turn. Once each Terminator had their turn, the action phase ends and the Orc attack phase and the Orc action phase begins. Healing. If a Terminator ends their action in a Terminator starting hex, move their damage marker one space towards the 0 symbol, so they can heal. So this guy's actually starting to look like the best, because he reduces damage by 1, and then if he's standing in his starting hex and surrounded, he can hit 3 of them and then heal. Seems a little bit broken, but okay. Move action. A hex can only have one Terminator in it. A Terminator cannot move into a hex that has another Terminator or Orc already in it. Attack phase. The Terminators make attacks in this phase. I would have never guessed. What happens when we introduce Psychers? That's how we broke Kill Team. But anyway, I digress. Okay. Pick an Orc token that is visible to the Terminator. To check if an Orc token is visible, draw an imaginary straight line, or just use your line to see if you can hit it. You just have to make sure you're within the actual, like, hexagrams. No line of sight blocking hexes in the way. I actually thought that was staying on the book. It's an orc symbol. I guess that's how the Imperium sees the orcs anyway, so that makes sense. Otherwise, the orc token is in cover. Oh, weird. What? Terminator is in the center of the hex, and the orc hex token is in. It is a clear shot. If you are not sure, use the line of sight ruler to check. Unless the Terminator's datasheet says otherwise, a Terminator can attack an orc token that is visible anywhere on the board. Okay. Otherwise, the orc token is in cover. And its toughness value for the attack. Add 1 to its toughness value for the attack. So the orcs typically go up by 1 to a toughness of 3. Or is that their wounds? Let me just check that really quickly. Orc toughness 3, so it goes to 4. Which is weird that orcs are toughness 3 in this game instead of toughness 4 like they are in the normal game. Okay. Once a visible orc token has been picked, the Terminator attacks the orc token by making an attack die roll. Okay, so now we're finally getting into how to attack, which I think should be on this card. There's more than enough room, especially right here, to explain how to attack, but I digress. We'll just put these over here for now. Roll an attack die. The number in the orc skull picture on the orc token is that orc's toughness value. Compare the results of the attack die roll to the target's value that you have picked, and if the result is equal to or greater than the toughness value for the attack hit, then the orc token is destroyed. Wait, what? How the hell does that work? Orc's token toughness value. So we know that they're toughness 3. Compare the result of the attack die roll to the toughness value of the token you picked. If the result is equal to or greater than the toughness value, the attack hit, and the orc token is destroyed. So it sounds like to kill an orc you need a 3-up, which just kind of sounds a little bit lame. But I guess I get it. It's a simplistic game, so that makes sense. It's meant to be played really quickly. Alright, remove it from the board and place it next to the Terminator's datasheet. Otherwise the attack misses and nothing happens. Okay, so you don't actually roll damage or anything, you just... I hit, the orc is dead. That's it. That's pretty simple. I like that. I can dig that. Abilities. Each Terminator has their own unique abilities which usually affect how they can attack. For the rules on how this works, read each of the Terminator data sheets. So for instance, we did read his, so let's go to the Space Wolves one. When Brother Stormheart's target is 3 or more, and the hex is away from him, he can also attack each of the orcs in the orc token next to that target, even if they are not visible. Okay, so he can attack everything next to him. So I guess you make 1 roll for every single one of them if you score a 3 or higher. So you do have to hurt the orc, which we did. And then if there's more orcs near him, we just roll and kill them as well, which we just did. Alright, that makes sense. And I'm assuming you do the same thing. Brother Magnus cannot attack normally. Instead, when Brother Magnus makes an attack action, pick a row of up to 5 visible hexes from the first hex in the row is next to Brother Magnus. I want to say Magnus, but Magnus, as shown below. Brother Magnus attacks each orc token in that row once. Okay. No, that's pretty cool. That's actually really good. So he has the chance of dealing damage. He guarantees it regardless. So if he misses the first one, he hits all of the others. If he misses this one, he doesn't roll for the extra ones. So that's interesting. After Brother makes an attack action, he can make a second attack action. So he just shoots twice, which is kind of interesting, or punches twice. And I'm guessing all of the hammers and everything are all the same. You just have to match their toughness, which is 3 up, and you hit and hurt them. Sustained fire can make up to 3 attack actions in his turn. Yeah, because he has the... Wait, so... You're strictly better than him. You don't move as far. Actually, you move just as far. You have just as many wounds. And you're just slower. But you're just better. Okay, I guess the blue Power Ranger isn't that good. Can make up to 3 attack actions in his turn. His second and third attack action must target either the same orc token as previous attacked or another orc token that is within 2 hexes of it. Okay, so there is a big difference between him. He can attack 2 guys on the complete opposite sides of the board, where he has to attack all of the ones near him. Alright, so we pretty much went over all of them, I think. I don't think I missed any. Did I miss any? No, there's only 5 here and I went over all of them. Okay. So let's get those back out of the way. Terminator action phase. Move actions, we already read, and we already read all of this. And it gives us a diagram of how to do our attacks and everything, showing us that we're going to be surrounded by orcs, so it's pretty good to have a close combat guy. Okay, orc action phase. Pretty much played exactly the same, isn't it? No, because you have smashing things. Because you're going to smash stuff, you're going to steal stuff, or you're going to break stuff. Or steal stuff. Yeah, it really depends. Okay. During the orc action phase, the orc tokens will move towards the nearest control panel hex that is next to... nearest control panel hex that is next to an undamaged power reactor token. After moving, the orc token may attack. So it does have to go here and then try to destroy the thingamajig. Orc token movement, which is pretty much just their movement. And I'm sure that they can't move within the same space as a Terminator or whatever. Has to move down 2. When a player moves an orc token, they must move it the shortest route towards the nearest control panel hex that is next to an undamaged power reactor token. At the same time, they must try to move it next to a Terminator without ever moving it further away from a control panel hex to an undamaged power reactor token. So that is interesting. Oh, and they show you that it can go 2 different ways. Okay, if it's the same distance away. Otherwise, it has to go towards the nearest token. It's really weird that they... Okay, that's just the green one. Never mind. If an orc token is equal distance, you can choose. We just went over that. If an orc token is already next to a Terminator, it does not move, and it attacks C opposed. So I'm guessing over here. If an orc token moves into a hex next to a Terminator or a control panel that is next to an undamaged power reactor, it moves and it attacks. The orc token can move through other orc tokens but cannot end their movement in the same hex as an orc token. If their movement would end in the same hex as another boy, they must move as far as they can and end their movement. Okay, so they can't end in the same thing. They move up to it and go 1 back. Easy enough. Smash the reactors. The player must move the orc tokens that could attack the undamaged power reactor tokens first. See opposite. If 2 or more orc tokens could attack the same undamaged power reactor, the reactor token, then the player chooses which order the orc tokens attack and move in. After an orc token that could attack the power reactor is moved, the player chooses which order the next orc token moves in. Wow, this is a tongue twister for me for no apparent reason. Orc tokens and attacks. To be honest, if you have the Blackstone Fortress board and a bunch of Terminators laying off to the side, you can play this game by yourself. Well, with friends. After the pandemic. Or unless all of your friends got tested. Be safe. Please be safe. Wash your hands. Should be doing that anyway. Orc token attacks. If it moved towards the Terminator, in which it could always attack the Terminator. After it moves into combat panel, after it moves into a control panel hex next to an undamaged power reactor token, there is no Terminator next to it, in which case it attacks the power reactor token. Wow, they are using a lot of language to try to explain that if you're next to a power reactor, you attack the power reactor if there's no Terminator next to you. If there's one of both, you choose. If there's a Terminator next to you, you attack the Terminator. There, done. When a power reactor token is attacked, it is flipped into its damaged side. It is now damaged. If all power reactor tokens are damaged, the players lose. Just flat out, you lose. So it would be cool, kind of cool to get like, and I've always wanted this, a Tech Marine and Terminator armor. Just saying. Or play this game with Tech Marines. I think that would be kind of cool. When an Orc token attacks a Terminator, it deals damage to that Terminator. Okay. Note that you do not need to roll the attack dice when Orc tokens attack. These attacks always hit. Well, that's just rude. Orcs are just better than Space Marines, apparently. Superhuman physiology, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it's represented. The damage deals a value to the explosion picture on the Orc token. So the Orc tokens have an explosion of 4, 2, depending. Wow, we have a wide variety of different Orcs. Holy cow, I didn't even realize there was that many. Okay. So let's continue moving through this. Move the damage counter on the Terminator's datasheet as many spaces towards the death picture. When the tracker is moved to the death picture, place the Terminator's model on its side in the same hex it is in. It is said to be out of action. Orc just comes up and right hooks the Space Marine Terminator and puts him out. Orc tokens do not attack Terminators that are out of action. Orc tokens that are next to an undamaged power reactor and a Terminator that is out of action will attack the power reactor token when they attack. When a Terminator is taken out of action, advance the grid tracker once to the next space. If the grid tracker is moved to 0, the players lose. Okay, so if you lose 3 Terminators, you lose the game. So if 3 players die, you lose. That's actually kind of interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. That's a cool mechanic. I like that. Okay. Heroes all. Terminators are the best fighters in the galaxy. That's debatable. I raise you a Genestealer, which literally eats these guys for breakfast. I raise you an Orc with a lead pipe, which can kill this guy. I raise you a Space Clown that can kill these guys. There's a lot in the galaxy that can kill Space Marines very easily. An Angry Nun with a melt-a-gun. But they're the best fighters in the galaxy, excluding Terminators and literally all of their elite infantry in the entirety of 40k or HQs. When injured warriors would be unable to fight on, Terminators rise again, bloodied and unbowed. When a player takes their turn, if their Terminator is out of action, stand that model back up. The Terminator's damage tracker is set so that 1 point of the damage will take them out of action. Again, the Terminator is not out of action anymore and can act normally. So when you die, you get back up, you have 1 wound, there's an Orc next to you, the Orc punches you, you die again, the game ends. It actually seems like a bit of a pickle. Because, like, okay, so you're on 2 hexes, right next to each other. Assuming you don't kill that Orc next to you, that Orc then just kills you again, advances the turn marker by 1. You get back up. That Orc kills you again, you go down. That's twice now that you've died. that orc just automatically hits you, which sounds like the orc is the better fighter here, so I don't think that this is quite true. The orc automatically hits, but the Space Marine has to roll to hit. Which sounds like the orc is a little bit better at close combat. Alright, so then we move on. It tells us about the special orc tokens, which is the War Boss, the Weird Boy, the Big Mac, the Mac, and the Pain Boy. And each of them have their own unique ability. So, and this is not listed anywhere except here. So, the War Boss has Warpath. After all orc tokens in the wave have been added to the board, the War Boss is in the wave. If the War Boss is in that wave, every Orc Boy token on the board moves and attacks once before the Terminator's action phase, following the same rules. So the Orcs just beat the hell out of the Terminators just for free if the War Boss shows up. Weird Boy, Wah Energy. At the end of the Orc action phase, count a number of Orc tokens. I am sorry about yawning. I have not had sleep. Next to the Weird Boy, including the Weird Boy itself, the nearest Terminator within 2 hexes of the Weird Boy is dealt damage equal to the number, even through a wall hex. There is a choice the player chooses which Terminator is dealt damage. Oh, that's kind of terrifying, to be honest. A Weird Boy can just one-shot a Terminator. So he just pops in, blasts the Terminator. The Terminator gets back up, gets smacked by an orc down, gets back up again, gets smacked again, you lose the game. So essentially, if you go down and your teammates don't try to protect you, you lose. Just flat out. Ow. I just hit my elbow. Okay. Big Mac. Teleport Blasta. At the end of the Orc action phase, the nearest visible Terminator to the Big Mac is dealt 2 damage, just for free. If it is a choice, the player picks which Terminator is dealt damage. The mech has the custom Mega Blasta. God, these Orcs can shoot for days. Like, they hit automatically, they attack automatically. It just sounds like they are better warriors than the Terminators. Just saying. At the end of the Orc action phase, the nearest visible Terminator to the mech is dealt 1 damage. Just free damage. Holy cow, I can't wait to play this game. It just sounds like the Terminators lose. Like, this is the Deathwatch Overkill box again, where the Tyranids just always lose. Pain Boy, Doc is in, add 1 to the toughness value of an Orc token in the hexes next to the Pain Boy, but not the Pain Boy itself. Okay, so you want to kill the Pain Boys. You want to kill these guys as quickly as possible. It looks like the damn War Boss takes 5 shots to kill, so you have to focus everything on him to kill him. Then you have your supply tokens. Moving into a hex with a supply token, it has a fun little tracker for what it can do, which is kind of interesting. Each time a Terminator finishes its move action in a hex that contains a supply token, their player draws 2 cards from the supply deck. The player then picks one of these cards and keeps it. They put the other supply deck in the discard pile and move to the next supply deck. They remove the supply token from their hex and place it next to the board. So you collect tokens, you get cards. The cards have abilities. If the supply card was picked up is restricted to a particular Terminator, see page 6, give it to the player that's controlling that Terminator. Otherwise, that player who drew that card keeps it. Well, that kind of sucks. You can dead draw in this game. So we do have the tokens right here, and let's go ahead and just get these open. Let's try not damaging everything while we're at it. So we're gonna have to take a look at these in just a minute. So we have difficulty of Commander, Warrior, and then I guess the generic one, which is not here for some reason. Holy cow. Orc Horde, 20 boys, 5 knobs, 10 commandos, 7 burnaboys. And then Commander is 20 boys, 5 knobs, 10 commandos, 8 burnaboys, 5 mega knobs, 1 big mech, 1 weird boy, 2 mechs, 1 pain boy, 1 war boss. Holy crap, that's a 500 point orc list. Like it's actually kind of terrifying. Okay, then we have Wrath of Magmus, which is for Magmus only. Oh, it looks like these guys have 2 cards for them, which is kind of cool. Alright, then we have Master Marksman for the Ultramarine, and then we have Tactical Supremacy, because he's an Ultramarine and he has to be the best tactician at everything forever. Then we have Slicing Fire, and then let me guess. Nope, Shooting Drill. Oh, that's actually cool. I love that artwork. And Natural Commander. Oh, so the Blood Angel is the commander of the group. And then Righteous Strength, which we saw. Crackshot, which adds 1... treat all orc tokens as being 1 toughness lower to a minimum of 2. So you hit on 2s, which is pretty good. And then he has Howl of Fury. Of course he does. Freaking course he does. And now we go into the specific cards. Swift Redeployment, Unrendering Accuracy, Juggernaut. That was 2 Juggernauts. For the Emperor, Heroic End, which is kind of cool. For the Emperor, again. Drive Them Back, drive me closer, I wish to hit them with my sword. Perfect Shot, Unrendering Accuracy again, Swift Redeployment, Diverted, My Face is My Shield. There's a lot of art in this. Like this for its price, you get a lot of stuff out of this. I can't wait to play this game. So let's see, you can play this card after any Terminator misses an attack, change the attack roll to a 4. So with For the Emperor, you auto hit. So you want to collect these damn tokens as quickly as possible. Another Diverted, Devices Extend, Crux Terminatus, ooh. Reduce the damage by 2. Alright, that's super useful. And these are one-time use cards. And then once they're used, they get placed into the discard pile. Perfect Shot, Targeted Fire. So we got quite a lot out of that. I like that. I like that a lot. This feels like an actual board game that I would be willing to play and play quite often. In fact, I might invite a few friends over just to play it. So, where are we? Glorious Victory. Grit Tracker Space. The orcs have utterly vanquished. The orcs are utterly vanquished. You have 1. You have 1. Though casualties were high, you have performed the impossible and defeated the orcs. And 1. Heedless of the terrible casualties suffered by your brother. So if there's 3 of you left, 2 of you left, and 1 of you left. That's really funny. You fought on. It's like you were dumber longer than all of your brothers who died. Good job. When the last orc token is destroyed, the players instantly win the game. In order to rank your victory, check which space... Okay. And then the power reactor tokens. So if there's 6 of them left, these are just to describe how you won. So that's actually pretty cute. I like that. I like that a lot. And then it looks like it goes into some lore. Okay. Then it goes into some of the heroes. Okay, so this is a battle that included all 5 of them. Alright, I like it. And then it gives you the lore and then how to build them. It doesn't actually give you the... Huh. I thought for sure this was going to come with data cards. Like the actual data cards. Did they remove it from the set? I'm curious about that. Well, let's take a look at these tokens. I'm curious about these tokens. God, this knife is not sharp in any way, shape, or form. I'm so good at opening things. You guys have no idea. All right. So for the orc tokens, we have 2 sheets, one including the war boss. Okay, so we have one of each of the special characters, a ton of orc boys. Again, this is actually a sizable force of orcs. Like, could you imagine if they gave you this as a set? Honestly, this would be a really cool... Like, if they released this as a battle box, which included all of this stuff for like $150, I'd probably buy it. I'm not gonna lie. Having 5 Mega Knobs, a Big Mac, a Pain Boy, a War Boss, a Weird Boy, 5 Knobs, 3 squads, 2 squads of Burners, 2 Commando squads, and a bunch of boys. Yeah, I would buy this. Like, that'd be easy. It'd be an easy sale for me. And then we have the game board itself, which is much better designed than the cardboard terrain board that you got in the Indominus box and the not the Indominus box, the command box, which I didn't like, as you guys know. Mine was damaged as we got it. So this board is actually a lot nicer, a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, because yeah, it's a lot bigger. And I put it upside down, so I need to move stuff out of the way real quick. Get this thing in focus, and as I smack my camera, I do apologize about that. So, the game is only played in one style of play, which kind of sucks. Your orc tokens appear here, 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 and here. I don't know if you can see this side, but we're going to try to make it so that you can. I'm also going to try to clear some room on my table for all of this stuff so that we can fit this. But yeah, here, 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 and here. You roll for the orcs coming in, the amount of them and where they come in based on the number on the d6 itself. So our first one would come in over here. So let's go ahead and deploy a... We don't have the Terminator set up, so I do apologize. So the orc horde is going to be set up as 20 orc boys. How the hell do you fit 20 on here? Okay, so it looks like you roll 6 times for them. Wait, but how do you pick which one you want to put on first? Okay, I should probably read setup. Let me reread setup. I think I skipped it. Now pick the difficulty you wish to start the game at. This game contains difficulty cards which show... It actually doesn't contain this one, which is really weird. But we're going to pick this one for novice. The easiest version of the game is novice. If you're in your first game, use this level. Warrior is more difficult and veteran is for experts. Okay. So, that's cool. Playing the game board in the center of the table. The youngest player picks the Terminator. So how do the orcs come in? Because what they're showing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orcs coming in at a time. Does that mean orcs come in as 5 at a time? From the punch board, take a number of orc tokens. The difficulty card under orc horde, mix these tokens together, face down in the orc pile. This is the reserve pile for any remaining orcs. Place them in the game board. Okay, so place them in here. Take a number of tokens written under orc per wave. Okay, so this one would be 5. Okay. So what we do for this orc horde is we have 5 knobs. So let's take out these 5 knobs. Okay. So we took out 5 knobs. 5 commandos. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then 20 boys, which all of the boys are on this one. And I think that's the whole wave of boys. One went on the floor. 2 went on the floor. Okay. We got pretty much all of them out except for 2 that fell on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. Okay, I just gotta grab these real quick. So, let's go ahead and shuffle these and put them face down. It's kind of weird, but okay. I can dig this. I can dig this. I don't know what order I'm actually putting these in, if I'm putting them in any order whatsoever. But I guarantee I'm going to get 5 boys, like, because that's what it feels like I'm going to get. Okay. Let's just use that stack for right this second, just to set this game up real quick. So the orcs per wave is 5. So we go ahead, we put this aside, we roll this 5 times. So the first one is going to appear at 3, which we're just going to take this one, and then it's going to be all the way over here on this side of the map. And try to keep the whole map in here. So we flip this one over, it's a boy. The second one is going to appear on 2, which is going to be a boy. The third one is going to appear on 1, that's going to be a boy. The fourth one on 4, okay, I'm rolling really odd. And then the fifth one is going to be on 5, no, 4 again. And now we know that it has to be placed next to the nearest one, and this is going to be a boy. So then once they're placed, the Terminators do their actions first, which means they can shoot these guys if they can draw a line of sight, which we have the line of sight measuring sticky sticks. So if you're right here, you do have a line of sight, but they are in cover, so they count themselves as 1 toughness higher. But from this guy to here, that is a blocked line of sight, so he can't see because of this one. But if you were to move here, for instance, he has a clear line of sight from the center of the board to that guy, so he can shoot here. For this one here, if he starts here, he has a clear line of sight here. This one has no clear line of sight, so he'd have to move up to here to get a clear line of sight. And that's how the game is pretty much played, and then each Terminator takes their own turn. So we're just gonna cut out a base really quickly to go through a turn of these guys. And again, these are just push fit models that are a lot larger than their counterparts. So here we go. We're just gonna cut out 2 of their bases really quickly. And to be honest, these guys are connected so softly that you can probably twist these off without a problem. And we'll take the Ultramarine because you were the next one in the line. There we go. So I don't have the Terminators built, obviously. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the player cards. So how we determine the order is we have the green one, which is weird that the Salamander is the green one, but okay. So he has a command value of 5. So it looks like he's going to go first. Then we have a command value of 3, and then a command value of 2. So, in order, they're going to go like this. Magmus, Elysium, and then Etris, or Tyrus. Is he silent? I like Etris, because I like Etrigan. Anyway. So, the green one, he is going to elect to stay still, which would mean that he would heal because he's in this this part right here where the Terminators deploy. But I know that I can get him from here because of the 5 line for his special ability. So, we're going to go ahead and roll. We need a 3, and he always treats them as 1 toughness lower, so we need a 2 to cause damage. We rolled a 1. So, I can now move if I want to. And I'm going to do his 2 moves and go to here, which would get us a token, which would get us one of these cards. But we're not going to draw them just yet, and we're just going to go through here. So the next one, he is going to move his 2 spots so that he has clear line of sight on him, and he's going to shoot him. He needs a 3. He hits him. This token dies. Okay? Then he can actually shoot again, but there's nobody in his line of sight, and they can shoot the entire board. But as everything is out of line of sight, there is nothing for him to see to shoot. So then we have this one, and he is going to move his 2 spots. This one's going to be a toughness value higher because it is in cover, because the center of this tile to the center of this tile does pass over one of these, but it doesn't block the line of sight completely, so he is in cover. So this one has a toughness value of 4 now. So we're going to use his sustained fire and try to shoot him a whole bunch. So the first one does nothing. Then he makes 2 additional attacks. So the second one does kill him. And then from there we go to the Orks phase. Now on the first turn they don't reinforce because, well, they don't. That's the rules. Shoot your face. So the Orks are going to move there too, and they're going to move towards the nearest thing. They're going to attack it, and this one gets damaged. So this token is going to follow here. The next one will go to here, not making it to the area to damage it, but this one is now damaged, which we're going to go ahead and put these on, because there's 6 of these. But there's also these, and this one is now damaged. This one is still good, so it looks like you want to try to get to these spots as quickly as possible to defend them. This one's about to be destroyed. So, the Orks have moved, all of them that could. They have attacked if they could. They only have their Slug of Chaba, but it doesn't look like they have any ranged attacks whatsoever. So then we go back to Magmus, and he can take his turn. Now we see an Ork here and 2 Orks over here. So he can move twice. And what I want to do is I want to move here, check my LOS. I don't have a line of sight on him, and I don't have a line of sight on him, so I don't actually want to move there. Instead, what I want to do is I want to move and place myself right here. This way this Ork can't get this, ever. So the Ork would have to attack me instead. So I'm going to go ahead and attack him. We're going to kill him. So this Ork is now dead. Okay? Then we're going to move on to the next Terminator. This dude. He's going to collect one of these tokens and move here. I'm just going to put this token over here though. Okay, we're going to say we drew the card. We're not going to actually draw the card. And then he can shoot twice, but unfortunately, actually he does have line of sight on him. So he's going to go ahead and shoot. He doesn't hit. Then he's going to go ahead and shoot. He does hit, but he is in cover because of this spot that he's going over. So because he's not going over the center of it and just the curve of it, he gets cover, so he goes up to a 4. So unfortunately, we didn't do anything, and that's a big deal. Then we go to the Yellow Banana Boy, and the Yellow Banana Boy, he is going to go ahead and move up to here, and he's going to shoot this Ork. So he hits and kills him. Okay, so that's 3 Orks dealt with, 4 Orks dealt with out of 5 on your first 2 turns. So we're still on 3 because no guys have died. And then we have 5 more Orks that come into play. So we take our die, where I don't know where I put it because it should be put in the center, and we start rolling for these guys. So the Orks that come in, we have number 3, which is over here, and this Ork gets revealed to be an Ork Boy. Then we have number 5, which is right here, and it's an Ork Boy. And we have 2, which is all the way over here, and it's an Ork Boy. And we have 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 that came in. Then we have a knob that came in over here, so that's dangerous. And then the last one is number 5, which is right here. So this one comes in, and this is a commando. And now they act immediately on their turn. So this orc can move 2. He's going to come to here. And he's going to try to do... Actually, it would be here, because now he has the choice of moving to this Terminator or here. But they always have to move towards here first. This orc is going to go, and he's going to move to here. This orc is going to go, and he's going to move to here. This orc right here has already destroyed this thing and is going to move towards the nearest... the next one. So we have 3 orcs right here, which is extremely dangerous, and this is the spot where we would want the Cyclone missile launcher. Then we have this orc over here. He's going to move up to there because the Terminator is there. This one is going to move here and deal 2 damage to this guy. So he has taken 2, and he's close to death because they can only take 6 wounds, or 7 wounds, 8 wounds. There's 8 markers on there. We started 0, so it doesn't matter. So this orc attacked into here. And then that is it for the orc turn. We go back to the Space Marine turn. So we start with our highest initiative, which is going to be the Green Power Ranger. And he's going to go ahead and shoot into... Now he has the choice of shooting here or here. And he only has a movement characteristic of 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot this one. So that 3 goes down to a 2. He hits and kills him. So that orc is dealt with. And then he's going to stay where he is because he doesn't want this orc to come into here to damage it. So we move on to the banana, not the banana boy, the Ultramarine. And the Ultramarine is going to go ahead and shoot. And he is going to shoot this orc up here. Hopefully you guys can see that. There we go. So, first shot is going to hit him. And this dude has 3 damage marker, so I gotta check what that means again. I think it means he can take 3 hits before he dies. Oh, I've been killing the orcs way too fast. They have a toughness of... They have a damage of 2. That is my bad. I have been killing them way too fast. They should be a lot tougher. So this one has 3, so I only damaged him once. And then I'll take the next shot at him and damage him twice. So he's down to 1. So these orcs technically... I messed up. That is my bad. But this is why we're learning together. So then from there we go to the... Wow, we go to him, and there's a lot of orcs here. So we're going to take some shot. Actually, we're going to move to... You know what? We're going to move right up to him and shoot right here. So the first one is a hit. The second one is a hit, so this orc boy is now dead. Move him off to the side. And then the third shot is going to go into this commando, and it is not going to hit because the commando is toughness 4. So that's his turn, and now it goes to the orc's turn. These orcs would punch and deal 2 damage here. Actually, wait. They would go here and destroy this one. This one would then try to move to here. This one would come here and destroy this. So we're running low on actives that are not destroyed at this point. So we do have to try to kill these orcs as quickly as possible. Then we have this orc, which would move up to here and deal 2 more damage to him. So he's taken 4 out of his 6. Then it goes to the Space Marines. Oh, actually more orcs come in. Wow, this game is incredibly difficult. Holy crap, I don't know how the Space Marines win. Huh. So we have 6. So we have another orc coming in over here. 2. Another orc comes in over here. 1. Another orc comes in over here. And 1. This gets ridiculous fast. Holy cow. How the heck did the Space Marines win? So, that is pretty much the basics of this game, and I'm really excited about it. I actually do want to play this with some friends because I really want to see how this game really plays out. because I personally don't think that we can win. And I think that's actually kind of fun. It's a challenge to actually beat the game. It's kind of like the Dark Souls game, where it's ridiculously hard to win. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please like the video, check out all the other videos on the channel, as well as checking out all the links in the description. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to helping out the channel. I want to thank each and every single one of my Patreon peoples. You guys are awesome and you make this stuff happen, because I'm super excited about this game. It's quick, it's fun, and I don't know, it's something about it is like oddly soothing, if that makes sense. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.